Hi, good morning, South Mississippi. Meteorologist Taylor Graham here, joining you from the newsroom to give an update on the forecast and what you can expect today and throughout the rest of the week. You may notice a little bit more cloud cover starting to move through our area this morning. The sky may be looking dark at times at this point, but rain chance is still slim to none today. Not really expecting any rain, but the reason why we're seeing an increase in some of the cloud cover right now is because of a cold front that's starting to work our way through the area. So let's take a look at that forecast today. Even in the background, this is our Hancock Windy Bank Tower Cam in Gulfport, we can even see some of those clouds blocking some of the sunlight at this point, at least for some of us along the coast. So we may see a little bit more cloud cover this morning and into the afternoon. I'm not anticipating any rain. We don't have a lot of moisture in the air to allow some of these showers to develop. High temperatures today still expected to be in the upper 70s despite this being a cold front, but notice their winds will be out of the north later today thanks to that cold front. A bit of a refreshing breeze because the humidity is going to be dropping throughout the day. It's been a little bit on the humid side this morning, not like what we get during the summer months, but you may notice it feeling just a little bit more muggy outside. That's not going to last all day. By the end of the afternoon, it's going to be feeling more refreshing. Right now we're sitting at 67, a little bit of a breeze out of the west and northwest. For the time being, we have dew points in the low to mid 60s on the coast. Temperatures right now have climbed a little bit into the low to mid 60s for the most part, a few upper 60s. It looks like along coastal Harrison County, by the end of the afternoon, we're going to be in the 70s. But let's talk about the dew points. That's going to be the most noticeable thing about today. We've started off a little bit on the humid side, but after that cold front passes through late this morning and this afternoon, dew points are going to be dropping into the 50s and eventually the 40s by the end of the afternoon. We look at the dew points for an indication of how much moisture is in the air. That moisture content is going to decrease later today, giving us a drier feel in the air, making it feel more comfortable outside. That cold front also going to allow winds to pick up out of the north today. So if you have plans to take the boat out, it is going to be a little bit more breezy by the end of the afternoon with that northerly wind at 10 knots or so. Seas expected to be 1 to 3 feet. So overall, looking at a light chop, not a bad day to take the boat out. Rain is not going to be much of an issue. We're coming up on high tide as we head into the late part of the morning into the early afternoon for Bay St. Louis. Low tide is expected late tonight, well after the sunset. And as far as I could tell this morning, water temperature still remains in the low 70s. So just a bit on the cool side, but I would say by next week, with all this warm weather that's in our forecast, the water temperature likely going to warm up along with that. So the cold front not too far to our north at this point. It's really just to our north. It's starting to pass through parts of the Pine Belt. We'll feel the drier air behind it first, and then the cooler air behind it is really going to be moving in late tonight into tomorrow morning. And tomorrow morning is going to be a bit on the chilly side. We are anticipating temperatures to drop into the 40s right before the sunrise on Wednesday. But more noticeable today is going to be that drier air and also some cloud cover just ahead of that cold front. We can see, looking at current dew points across the southeast, that we have dew points along the Gulf Coast in the low to mid 60s. Not too far to our north along the I-20 corridor near Jackson Meridian, we have dew points in the 40s. That drier air continues to work its way farther south, and by the end of the day, it's going to be feeling pretty comfortable outside. The cooler air still remains well to our north and west at this point. We can see the 30s and 40s up into parts of the plains, the Midwest, even Memphis right now sitting at 59. I'm not anticipating anything too cold, but I would say for our standards, at least by tomorrow morning, it's going to be a little bit chilly, especially after us having these afternoons that have been pretty warm in the 70s. Tomorrow morning, you may want a sweatshirt, you may want a light jacket. You're not going to need it all day, though. I'll show you the forecast tomorrow. It is looking absolutely stunning. But a closer view right now of satellite does show some of those clouds developing. We may not see a ton of sunshine this morning, but some of those clouds will gradually clear out of the way it looks like by the end of the afternoon. And that will give way to a nice sunny afternoon with temperatures responding into the mid to upper 70s. overnight tonight until Wednesday morning, that's when temperatures will drop quite a bit. We'll wake up tomorrow morning near the sunrise in the mid to upper 40s. Check out Hattiesburg, our Futurecast model indicating a low possibly in the low 40s, not out of the question. Now that the ground has been able to dry out, we've got that lower humidity, it's going to be easier for us to cool down. And we'll keep just a tiny bit of a wind, it looks like, out of the north and east. Now, despite the chilly start tomorrow, we have plenty of sunshine in the forecast throughout the day. That will easily warm us up into the mid-70s. Tomorrow looks like one of those picture-perfect days. Sunny and 75 is our forecast for coastal Mississippi. Really doesn't get much better than that, especially with the lower humidity sticking around, at least through Wednesday. This dip in the humidity, though, is going to be pretty short-lived. By the end of Thursday and especially into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, that higher humidity returns. So my advice is to soak it up while it lasts. Not only this week, but as we know, once we get into the summertime, it's really going to be hot and humid. These types of days don't last forever, so I do recommend enjoying them while they do last. By Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it is going to be feeling a bit muggy outside with those dew points back into the 60s and low 70s. I didn't have to make many changes to our Easter weekend forecast for Good Friday. Warm, a little more sunshine, temperatures in the upper 70s on the coast, could see some low 80s a little farther inland. I do anticipate to see a bit more cloud cover on Saturday and on Easter Sunday. No rain expected on Saturday. I can't completely rule out a few isolated showers on Easter Sunday. Your Easter egg hunts, any of your outdoor services are going to be a-okay, I would say, for the most part. Even if we see any rain on Sunday, it's going to be pretty brief and also very light. So while there is a chance for a little bit of rain, nothing major expected on Sunday. Now, it is going to be warm, humid, breezy. Temperatures still expected to be in the upper 70s. Some low 80s will be possible depending on how much sun we're able to get on Sunday. Once we get past Easter, signs are showing that next week is going to be a little bit more active in terms of showers and thunderstorms. We're going to be seeing a cold front, another front, get closer to us on Monday. That will give way to a better chance of showers and storms. And if that front stalls nearby, by early next week, we could also see more showers and storms that following Tuesday and Wednesday. A lot of details to work out, but just generally speaking, next week is looking more active than our forecast this week. Of course, this week, almost picture perfect. No rain expected over the next several days. We'll have plenty of sunshine to enjoy over the next several days, even though we've got a little bit of cloud cover in place this morning. High temperatures generally are going to stay in the upper 70s on the coast with the exception of tomorrow. That cold front gives us just a tiny bit of a cool down by the afternoon. But Thursday, Friday into our holiday weekend, high temperatures will be in the upper 70s, a little bit above average for us on the coast. Low 80s are more likely north of I-10. I don't see any signs of any big significant cool down in the near future. Looks like this warmer than average weather is going to continue into a good majority of April. This is the Climate Prediction Center temperature outlook from about the 22nd through the 28th, which almost puts us at the end of the month. Warmer than average temperatures are expected across most of the East Coast and the Southeast. So spring is here to stay, no doubt about that. Typically when we get to the end of April, we generally see high temperatures in the 80s or so. We may have some days where we could be a little bit warmer than that. I'm not going to rule that out. Generally speaking, the trend is showing that we're going to be seeing warmer than average temperatures by the end of the month. So spring definitely in full swing here in South Mississippi. Other than tonight, no real significant cool downs in the forecast. In fact, by Friday night, Saturday night, the morning on Easter Sunday, it's going to be mild, a little humid. Temperatures only dropping into the mid to upper 60s. We'll be in the 70s Saturday and Sunday afternoon. We may not even get out of the 70s Sunday night into Monday morning with that higher humidity sticking around. Generally speaking, it does look like next week is going to be a bit more rainy at times. Definitely more humid, no doubt about that. We'll feel the higher humidity early next week, and temperatures are going to stay in the 70s and 80s. But at least for the end of today and especially tomorrow, the humidity is going to be low. Tomorrow, I would say, is one of the best days of the week. Sunny and 75. It really does not get much better than that. Thursday also going to be pretty nice, but we'll slowly see an uptick in the humidity by the end of the day. But really no complaints in the forecast, at least over the next 5 days or so. And even then on Easter Sunday with a chance for a few stray showers, nothing major expected at this time. So if you're going to be traveling around here locally Friday and Saturday, things are looking a-okay in my opinion. It's not really until next week that our rain chances are going to rise a little bit more. So I will be coming back on the air on ABC for our midday show today at 11 o'clock. Hopefully you can join us there for the latest weather and news. I'll have another update on our Easter forecast and this beautiful weather that we anticipate this week. Despite seeing a few more clouds out there this morning, they're not going to last forever. I do anticipate to see some sunshine within the mix at times today and that lower humidity. So with that, I hope everyone has a fantastic Tuesday, and hopefully you will join us for our midday newscast and our afternoon newscast as well.